Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the backyard. And today's a beautiful day, high 60s. It's been in the 80s and the 70s the last few days. Things are really growing great. And I want to show you all the really tasty stuff that is growing in our yard. All right, in this first bed here, we just planted a bunch of different kale. So here's some beautiful red Russian kale. They're about 6 inches tall and doing great. You got a lacinato kale, another red Russian kale, lacinato kale. Come over here, you've got some romaine lettuce, more red Russian kale, we overplant, we overharvest. And what else do? We always overseed, right? Because not everything grows great. You always have some stragglers, and you want to plant the best of the best and get the best every year. Case in point, all of these beautiful kale plants that we've got planted in these beds right here in these romaine lettuce, well, we picked them out of a bunch more. Still got our row covers on, and they did a fantastic job of protecting all the plants in the winds that we had. They also do a great job of keeping it a little bit warmer. Obviously, they've got little holes in them, but they still stay warmer because they're breaking the wind down, and it's really great. They've kept any of the straggler insects off them. And as you know, a lot of the things here, we like to save seeds, so a lot of times things drop out when we're harvesting the plants, or when we're actually hanging them out to dry in the really nice weather. And when that happens, you get free plants. Basically, you don't have to plant them, you don't have to sprout them, they just pop up and grow. A lot of times they die off because it's not as good to grow from seed as it is from modules for smaller seedlings that have already got their legs under them, right? I want to say the success rate from growing from module tray seedlings as opposed to seed is 25 times greater. And you'll have great success. You get to harvest different plants. So the best of the best, plant the best of the best. Look at that best sky behind me. Isn't that a beautiful day right there? You cannot beat SoCal on days like this. Back to work. Got more spring onions right here. Those are beautiful white Lisbon. So I want to take a look at these broad beans now, and you'll see that they're starting to flower out right there. That means we're going to have to support these, because when they start to make pods, there's no way that those beans can support themselves. The pods are massive, the size of bananas almost, and you just can't do it. Right here is another plant that popped up by itself. We've got some larger sized red Russian kales here. They're probably about 12 inches tall, not ready for harvest. We've got more broad beans. We've got these beautiful Jimmy Nardello and Marconi red sweet peppers ripening. We've also got pepperoncini in there. Filderkraut cabbage right here. Let me zoom in on that for you. That's a beautiful little Filderkraut cabbage plant. And check out how good our beets are doing. If you look, these nice leaves here are the size bigger than my hand. They're beautiful. They're tasty. We are going to eat some of those. It helps thin out the foliage, keeps them nice and dry, disease-free, but it also gives us a fantastic food source. Another Filderkraut cabbage right there, looking great. These onions here are older onions, succession planting. We've got much bigger onions here, a little bit smaller next to it, and much smaller over here. So it gives you a big variety when you grow your own food. You can come out and eat little scallion onions, a little bit larger if you want. Get a little bit larger or really get out of control. And come over here and get some of these really big ones. Almost look like leeks, don't they? All right, back to the tour. Here's all those beautiful Bolt Tardy beets. We've got some bull's blood beets in there, if you could see under that row cover right there. We've got peas here that we're harvesting the shoots and the flowers off the top, and we eat those as greens. One of the best reasons of growing peas and beans is not only do you get to eat the food, so you can eat it as a pod, a fresh pod. Shuck out the peas or the beans and eat them fresh. You can also dry them and eat them as a dried product in a soup or whatever you want to do. And what you can also do is you can eat the shoots. Legumes, for the most part, and and peas are fantastic. You get a lot of different food sources, and you get your seed for next year off of the dried product. And there's nothing better than keeping your own seed. It's acclimated to your area, and it's fantastic. Another thing with peas and beans is they are nitrogen fixing plants. So they help your beds and your soil be more fertile. They take nitrogen and trap it, bring it out of the atmosphere, and they trap it in their roots. They fix it, and you actually get to use that to make your beds better. Well, how do you do that? When you're done harvesting whatever you want off those beautiful broad beans back there, or these beautiful pea plants right here in this bed, all you simply do is cut those plants off flush with the soil. Cut those broad beans or those fava bean plants off the soil, and all of the nitrogen that those plants fixed, and these plants fixed, and those plants fixed, and all of these plants over here fixed will act as fertilizer for your next crop, and your next crop will grow even better than you could ever imagine, right? Because you're improving that soil every time. And that is the benefit of no dig. You put everything on top of the soil. You leave everything you can under the soil. And all of those things work in your favor to make a better soil in your garden or your yard. And what does that do? That gives you way more food, better quality food, healthier food, and better soil. You feed the soil, the plants will feed you. You feed the plants, you're only going to win 1 or 2 seasons, and you're going to be scratching your head forever. Look at this bronze leaf lettuce. This definitely needs a pick, right? These are some of the stars. And this one right here is actually one that was self-seeded. And this is our second pick off of this one. And you can see we just go right around it. Charles Dowding showed me how to do this. You got to watch his channel if you don't. He is the godfather of no dig. And I owe many, many, many skills that I have doing this to him. So thank you, Charles. He's got a great website. Check it out. I'll link it in the video below the channel for you. You got to check him out. We want to get this down to size. So what this does is it keeps the plant genetically young. It gets rid of any old and weak leaves that draw in pests. Look how much more room is in there for all these other plants. And this is all going to feed us, this lettuce. None of this is compost as far as I can tell picking it. So what we're going to do, we're going to set that right there. Simple row covers. Coming in here, we've got some more of those bigger Jimmy Nardellos and Marconi red peppers. This one down here is ready for harvest, as you can see. Let me sneak my way in there, take you in for a quick peek. All right, here we go. So we've got this right here. What you do at the pepper plant when you just want to get one, get below it and snap it right up. Look at that. That's a beautiful Marconi sweet red pepper. You cannot beat the flavor of these. All heirloom, been around for a long time. Grill these up with some olive oil, some salt, and some peppers that are hot, or some onions and garlic. Squirt some of the Meyer lemon juice in the background right there on all that mixture, man, and go to town, fry them up. You'll be super happy you did. So we'll just put those in our grocery cart, so to speak. So here, we've got a Filderkraut cabbage that's about 6 to 8 inches tall, okay? Here you have one in here interplanted in these plants that's about 12 inches tall. We got to go in there and pick off these older leaves because that's what we do. That's how you keep all the pests away, is get rid of any of these older leaves. But please be careful when you do this for the first few times. It's best if you use 2 hands, but I got to hold the camera. Don't want to pull that plant up accidentally when you're taking off these old, decayed, weathered, and eaten leaves. So hold the base of that plant really good. Take these off gently. When the plant's much bigger and forming a head, those plants are robust. You could snap them off. They're like, the old leaves are going to be like stalks of celery, right? They're just going to snap off like a tree. But when they're young, you got to be delicate with them. If you're rough with them and you go to snap these off one hand, part of it stays on, and you pull part of that root out of that ground, that is not going to be a good situation for your plant, for you, or for your harvest. That one's about 12 inches tall. Over here you have one that's even taller, about 18 inches. And once again, it's got old leaves we need to remove next to this red bronze leaf lettuce that's in there. Yep, we interplant, we succession plant, and we get way bigger harvest. Remember, do not disturb that root. So get rid of these older leaves and be gentle when you do this. There you go. These go in the compost. All right, so let's go to the back side of the garden and look how nice and tall these broad beans or fava beans are. And then we've got another red Russian kale plant, a much smaller size because of succession planting. And here are some self-sown little Russian kale plants popping up down there. Hope the phone zeroes in on them. If we go this way, we're walking down the bed here. We've got much more broad beans helping our beds. There is a beautiful 3 harvests so far bib leaf lettuce right there in the middle. We'll plant the bibs. We usually plant all the bib lettuce a little bit later. Probably this week we'll start sprouting them. And that was a self-sown one. That's a really productive one. So guess which one we get our seed from? There you go. Look at the size of these beautiful bronze leaf lettuce. There's that bigger cilantro plant. There is a self-sown bib leaf lettuce seed right there. That'll grow into a beautiful bib. And if you look back here, we have the same size seedlings amongst what looks to be probably a cucumber seed that we missed, or that didn't sprout last year because we dropped it. But if you look in here, you've got more of those beautiful kale plants. A little bronze leaf lettuce, looks like a crab. And the back side of that bed looks really good. So these beds right here are really full with lots of good food. I will show you the rest of the beds next time. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, what's that in there? Look at the size of that big Marconi red pepper in there. Right there. Right there. You see it? That thing's going to be tasty in about a week. And if the weather goes south and it gets really cold, you can always pick it like that. Doesn't hurt anything. They have a different flavor. You can pick it like that anytime you want. I picked some of these Meyer lemons the other day, so I don't need one right now, but look how happy this tree is. All we do is compost on top once a year. And look what they do for us. Meyer lemon avocado. That right there is a Lamb Haas avocado with a couple of beautiful avocados on it. This is a mini cotto, a universal pollinator right there. That's fantastic. And there is our 10-year-old Anna apple tree that produces 2 harvests a year. It gives us a massive big harvest that we've already harvested, done videos on. So as always, thank you for spending some time with me. I got to get back in and do some work. And I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye. I hope you learned something. If you did, please hit me up with a like. It really helps. And subscribe if you already haven't. Have a great day. Bye-bye.